And now to Delta State, where the governor, Dr. Okowa, says Nigeria's growth is predicated on partnership between the government and the people as a nation based on equity, fairness and justice. The governor at a state banquet in honor of the retiring chief judge of the state, that's Justice Marsha Omokoro, says that in such partnership, consideration of equity and rights of all is paramount, and that the people must be treated fairly and equitably in all its dealings. He also noted that the country is in disarray because of injustice and unfair treatment of some sections of the country, and advocates for a nation where fairness, justice and equity will reign. Governor Okowa eulogized the retiring chief judge for cooperating with his administration, which he says helped in shaping Delta State's development.
Okay, well, for more, let's turn to Charles Aniagwu, Charles Aniagwu, the former Delta State Commissioner for Information. Hello, Charles. Nice to have you here on Arise Newsnight program. You want to tell us quickly, the Delta State Governor, under whom you served, first as Chief Press Secretary and later as Commissioner for Information, has been described by many people as Mr. Infrastructure. You want to, give us a sense of some of the infrastructural development that Deltans can be proud of?
Well, thank you very much for succinctly capturing the capacity in which I speak this evening as somebody who has been in government even before the dissolution of the cabinet. And so in which case, as a Deltan, I also do have a fair knowledge of what has transpired in the last 6 years of the administration of Senator Dr. Arthur Okowa. Where they call him not just Mr. Infrastructure, they also call him the road master. In some instances, they call him the bridge master. There are others who also say that he's the sports master. That's because in all these sectors, he has been able to win some form of laurels. And on account of what he has done in the road sector, he has been able to win a lot of awards from a lot of media houses and indeed very notable institutions and those who are into the business of recognizing the performance of any individual in our society. In the road sector, I can tell you that no fewer than 1,577.9 kilometers of road has been he embarked upon, and the larger part of these has been concluded in the last 6 years, with over 21 bridges, not counting the smaller ones, and of course over 908 kilometers of drains to tackle the issues of flooding in a number of communities and to make it possible for these roads to also last as expected by those who have brought up the bill of quantity or the design of some particular roads. But beyond the issue of roads, there are a lot number of issues that have to do with the school infrastructure, building a number of new schools, and at the same time, in that last 6 years, the administration was able to also tackle the issues of the provision of school chairs. So as somebody who is, I want to use the word now, privileged to have served in the administration, first, like you said, as Chief Press Secretary, and in the last 2 years before the dissolution of the school as a Commissioner for Information, I can tell you that he has done quite well. And I'm sure that your channel that have also had the privilege of covering a number of the developments in Delta can attest to the fact that so much has happened in the last 6 years of Okowa-led administration in Delta.
Absolutely. Well, Charles, you've actually given us a very good record as to what has been done in Delta State in the last 6 years under the present governor. But I know that for every good that has been done, there's still some challenges that are still bedeviling the state. Can you talk to us about some of those challenges? And yes, I know you're no longer part of the administration, but what you do know that the current administration is doing really to fix those challenges?
Well, while in government, at least I was able to notice the issues of paucity of funds. Of course, you recall what happened in 2016 with the fall in the price of crude, which today still remains the mainstay of the Nigerian economy. And Delta being number one in oil production in the country, you do know that invariably will also affect the resources of the state. So between 2016 and the larger part of 2017, there was a lot of issues with the funding because of the fall in the price of oil. But due to the ingenuity of the governor, he was able to pull through, even at the same time ensuring that salaries are paid and being able to execute a number of projects. But beyond the issues of funds, which affects quite a number of other states, you also know how he has been able to put together, put behind him the issue of complexities of the multi-ethnic nature of Delta. You do know that long before he came into office, there used to be a lot of clashes and possibly Delta being in the news for the wrong reason, either issues of pipeline vandalism or crisis in the riverine communities. But that he was able to deal with by taking infrastructure to these riverine communities, and then of course taking a lot of projects to areas that hitherto was described as a very difficult terrain to develop. Today, as we speak, a number of our communities in the riverine areas of the state have a lot of projects that they can enjoy, whether it's in the area of roads or in the area of schools or hospitals. You go to these communities now in these coastal areas of the state, they have those things. So the challenge of developing the creek is quite enormous. It takes quite a lot of money. Not long ago, we had a privilege as member of ESCO to join the governor then to visit a market in a place called Okowa. It's a floating market. That market is costing well over 4 billion to build. It's a market that's in the riverine community. Some persons may want to ask, why do you bother building a market in the water in the middle of the sea? But we have to do that because these are also Deltans who have also contributed to the development of the state, either by the sheer nature of the oil that is drilled from their communities, or some other forms of their contribution to the growth of the state. And in any case, a number of other communities, both within and outside the riverine communities, come there to engage in one form of trading or the other, particularly aquatic products. And so you see the need to have such a market. There are also challenges of individuals who may want to misinterpret your position, but the governor has also been able to deal with that, bringing everybody together and letting them know that one Delta is much more important than anybody wanting to possibly move towards ethnic inclination. And so uniting the state, though challenging, but it's one thing that he has done quite well today, that most part of the state can speak with one voice. Yes, we are approaching elections, so you do expect that individuals may want to, at a certain level for the purpose of convenience, possibly advance more of ethnic sentiments rather than statewide sentiments. It's not unexpected, but I trust that he's capable of dealing with it, having been able to deal with it in the past 6 years.
All right, well submitted and articulated there, Charles. But let's look at the complexities that you mentioned about the state and the multi-ethnic dimensions. Let's zero it to politics now, because some people are saying Mr. Governor, you know, dissolved his cabinet because of a lot of those in there with political interest high up there, those very close to him, and that he wants, you know, fresh legs that will help him carry the baton to 2023. What is the thinking of Mr. Governor in this area, particularly the zoning arrangement of the PDP in Delta State? Will come 2023, the next governorship candidate come from Delta Central, or is it South this time, particularly to the Okbes, or is it going to go to the Ijaws as being canvassed by a top-notch supporter of the PDP in Delta State? Charles?
Well, before your program, this particular program came on this evening, I had the privilege of also watching a sports program that was anchored by one of your staff. And in the course of that football play, I saw a number of players changed by their coaches, which meant that the club managers needed to rejig, and then for the purpose of winning that particular football match. Once you have an ESCO or a group of persons working with you, once in a while, you need to take a second look, particularly midway. Even in the course of a football match, once you go halfway, you decide to take another look at your team. Whether indeed with such team you'll be able to deliver the promises you have made to the people, or whether you need some form of retweaking of that particular team. The governor was very, very clear in dissolving the ESCO. He made it very clear that everybody has contributed their quota and that he's pleased with all the people that have worked with him. But that given his desire to indeed finish very, very strong, that he would not want distractions that will make him not to be able to realize those promises he has made to the people of Delta. And don't forget his title, Ekweme, That's a man who does what he says. And that for him to be able to do that, he does not want distractions. And indeed, there were some form of distractions, individuals who were already gearing up for one political position or the other, or individuals not paying enough attention to the responsibilities assigned to them. And so the best thing to do in this instance is just like that club manager who felt that for you to be able to win a match, in win a team when you are engaged in a football match, is to take a look at your players. What the governor has done is to take a look at the players and see those that can also join him in possibly winning the match. And winning the match means that he finished strong and able to indeed fulfill those promises he has made to the people. He has been able to hold sway and then bring about a lot of development in the state in the past 6 years. And so finishing the next 2 years, it is quite important to him as the person who is on the driver's seat. And of course, this is not the first time other cabinets are being dissolved or reshuffled. So there is nothing new in what the governor has done. He wants to be able to, as much as possible, realize those promises he has made to the people. Now, on the issue of zoning, the governor is also very, very clear that he is not God and he does not want to play God. That he believes that the good people of Delta will be able to come together, particularly since we engage in representative democracy, that each political party have their different leaders. And that the PDP that he belongs, a time will come where the leaders will come and sit down and look at what is in the best interest of the entire state and not possibly serve the interest of a few. And that meant that anybody who is going to come on board that possibly succeeded by the grace of God will be that person that will also carry on with the giant strides that he has recorded in the last 6 years. And at the same time, that person that will further unite our state such that you are looking at Delta as one state and not on the basis of the different ethnic groups that exist in the state. It's not the governor, like he said, who is going to be in a position to say, this is Mr. A who is going to become a governor of Mr. B. And you mentioned the issue of the Okpe people. The Okpe people are also in the central senatorial districts. We will not want to begin to reduce the argument to the issue of whether you are an Eka man or a John man, or we want, as Deltans, I'm speaking now as a Deltan, we would like a governor who will be able to carry on with what Senator Okowa is doing, so that, like he said, God will help us as a state to be able to also find that person that indeed will believe in the growth, unity, peace that exists today, such that at the end of the day we'll have a state that is forward-looking. And so that is what, as Deltans, what we believe in, and we're happy with what the governor have said, that we also need God in that decision being made. So at the moment, the governor did not tell anybody up to the last time I attended the school that he's going to be the one to bring up whoever is going to succeed him. He said leaders will come, and naturally,
we're looking up to God. At the end of the day, he's giving us as humans the ability to make certain decisions. But I do know that you've done a stellar job being the spokesperson of the Delta state government, especially under this present government. Well, I wish we had more time, but I would have to say thank you so much. I do know that you have been quite vocal, especially with the money that has just been returned to Nigeria, and the fact that you had an opinion that it should go to Delta to help with the infrastructural development of the administration. But of course, we've seen that the fact that that money stays at the center. We'll have to say thank you so much to you, Charles Aniagwu, for joining us tonight, the immediate past information commissioner in Delta State.